Hey, fifth graders. I hope you're having a good start to your week. I hope you're enjoying the beautiful weather. I know when I post this, it'll be Tuesday. It's looking like the weather's not going to be as nice, but today, Monday, we had a really nice 70-degree day. Had all the windows open in my house, so pretty nice to have the summery weather. We get our halfway done with the quarter, right? We've already done 5 weeks of distance learning, a little bit more than a month. We only have 5 to go after this. So, pat on the back. Most of you have all your stuff in. You're doing very well. Keep up with these ed puzzles because that's what we're going to continue to do probably for the rest of the year. This week is kind of weird because we don't have Friday for school. So no schoolwork is going to be due Friday, and no schoolwork is going to be posted Monday. So this week's schoolwork is due on Thursday for me. So you're going to have today, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to get this assignment done. This week we are going to have a Google Meet at some point. I will send out a notification that will tell you when the Google Meet is. I have to work it around the other Google and Zoom meets that you have with your other teachers. So just want to make sure that you know that we're going to have a Google Meet. It's probably going to last anywhere between 25 and 45 minutes, depends on how much science questions we have and things like that. We are going to continue on with our life science portion of science. We're going to kind of steer away from just plants and photosynthesis into ecology. So I'm going to introduce ecology today, and you're going to have a little activity to do after this ed puzzle. So let's get started with the ecology notes here. So ecology has a lot to do with interactions between living things. The definition of ecology is the study of the interactions of organisms with other organisms and with their surroundings. Okay, so ecology studies how organisms interact with each other and their environment. There are 2 parts of the environment. There's one part called biotic. You can see bio is in the name, like biology. You can think of living things. Biotic are the living parts of the environment. So this is some examples here: alligators, fish, clams, plants. So in Minnesota, that'd be like trees, grasses, deer, raccoons, anything that's alive, right? Bear, wolf, things like that. Those are all biotic, living things. Abiotic are the other parts of the environment. Now, if you see a before a word here, like abiotic, think of it being not biotic, right? Non-biotic, abiotic. Another word that kind of does this is like, so symmetrical would be something that has symmetry, like a triangle. Asymmetrical would mean it does not have symmetry, right? So the same thing kind of goes for this word. Abiotic means not living parts of the environment. Now, these aren't dead things. These are things that aren't alive or were never alive, right? Not made of cells, were never alive. So these are like water. Water isn't alive, was never alive. Soil is not alive. Temperature isn't alive. So if it's cold or if it's warm, that's a factor for the environment, but it's not a living factor. The amount of light is a factor, but not a living factor. Rocks are abiotic because they aren't alive. They were never alive. So dead things, like if you found a dead deer in the woods, that's an example of a biotic part of the environment because it was once alive. That was made of cells. It is dead, but it's not an abiotic part. It's biotic. So let's go ahead and kind of test you and see if you can guess which is which. So this fish, abiotic or biotic? You tell me. Okay, it is biotic. It is living, so it's biotic, right? It's a living part of the environment. Okay, this tornado, swirling air. Is this biotic or abiotic? It is abiotic, right? It's made of air, which is not living, was never living, okay? Abiotic. Okay, how about these rocks or this water in this picture? Is this living, biotic, or non-living, abiotic? It is abiotic, right? Rocks aren't living, were never living. Water is not living, was never living. Let's look at another example here. Okay, how about this? This is coral. Coral, is it biotic or abiotic? It is biotic. Coral is a living thing. Even though it doesn't seem to move, it is living. Coral is biotic, living. So we have two parts of the environment, right? Biotic and abiotic. Biotic is living, abiotic is non-living. Now, you can take this whole environment and organize it into different levels of organization. So you can start from really small and go really big, okay? Now these levels of organization, they organize the biotic factors of the environment, okay? Not the abiotic. So this organizes living things. So let's start from the smallest living thing that we can classify, right? You start with a single organism. An organism is an individual living thing that is made of cells, uses energy, reproduces, responds, grows, and develops. Basically, all you need to know is that this is like the single things in the environment. Like one raccoon is one organism. One plant is an organism. You are made of cells, use energy, can reproduce, responds, grows, and develops. You are an organism. You're the single organism. That's our first level of organization. We're only going to group it bigger from there. Okay, so organisms are our smallest classification. Then it goes to populations. This is like a group of organisms of the same species that live together. So this is like the population of peers is all of the humans that live in peers, right? You can look at the deer population on a farm maybe. Like you want to look at, some of you may have a farm or a deer hunting property and you want to know the population of deer there because you want to know how many you can shoot. That would be a population. How many of the same species live in an area, right? You could have a population of otters on a river or a population of trees in a certain area, right? So we go from an individual to a group of these organisms. Okay, if we go a little bit bigger, we have communities. This is all the populations of species that live and interact in an area. That means if you take a specific area, we could say Morrison County, that would be the community of all the deer, the plants, the animals, the humans, all those together would be the community, okay? It's all of the species, all the living things in a certain area. This could be, this community, the area that you're looking at could be as small as, you know, like someone's yard, or it could be as big as, you know, the entire earth, right? Your communities can be as big as smaller as you want to look at them, but it's all of the species in that area that interact with each other. Okay, if you get even bigger, we're looking at ecosystems. Ecosystems look at the community of organisms, right? We're talking about living things. So the community plus the abiotic environment of the community. So you're looking at how do these living things interact, plus how do they interact with their abiotic factors like water, light, temperature, maybe the geology of the area. So living plus non-living, right? That's the ecosystem. Now you can look at ecosystems as big or small as you want again, right? You can look at as big or as small as a yard or as big as the planet. It's kind of depends on the case, but in an ecosystem you can look as big or small as you want to. And then finally, the biggest classification we have is the biosphere. And this is the part of Earth where life exists, okay? So it's huge, right? It's the whole Earth, wherever life exists, that's the biosphere, okay? That's super big. It's the biggest we can go in this classification. So if you look at this picture here, this just kind of shows how the classifications change. Here, this is the single organism. an alligator, okay? Very small, one organism, the alligator. A population is this group of 4 alligators on this riverbank. Maybe you're looking at the population of alligators on a river. Here it is 4. If you look here at the community, this is how all of the living things interact with each other in this picture. So the community, you're looking at this wetlands, and you have plants and these birds and an animal over here, and the alligators are over here. How they interact would be the community. The ecosystem would be how that community of living things interacts with also its abiotic factors, like the water would be abiotic, the temperature would be abiotic, things like that. And then zoom out even more. You zoomed out as much as you can. You're looking at Earth. This is the biosphere. So this is like all of Earth and where its living things are, the biosphere. Now we are going to look at different levels of organization. So what is one Simba? What level of organization? It is an organism, right? One single living thing. It is Simba. It is an organism. Now let's go to the next picture. So what is the level of organization in this picture? It is community, right? It's all of the different species, gazelles, zebras, giraffes, lions, elephants. So many are in this picture. This is the community, right? All of the different populations of species together and interacting. And finally, we have our last picture. What would this be, right? 2 lions, Simba and his mother. What level of organization is that? It is population, right? It's many species, or how many, more than one species together. So population, it's all one species, right? Both lion, but we're just looking at how many, population. Okay, so next week we're going to get into food chains, food webs, food pyramids, those kind of things. This week I'm going to have you go out and take a 15-minute walk and write down all the biotic factors that you see. So all of the different plants, animals, things like that. I want you to write down all the different ones that you see on your walk, and then write down all the abiotic factors, okay? So non-living, right? Like water, temperature, light, rocks. Think about it. So this is going to be due on Thursday because we do not have school on Friday. I'm going to make this due Thursday. So your grades for this week are going to be the ed puzzle that you're already doing, and then the walk and writing abiotic versus biotic factors, and that's going to be what I grade next week for this week. So I hope you have a great rest of your week. Be on the lookout for a Google Meet notification. I'll tell you when we're going to be doing that. If you have any questions, send me an email. I hope to see you on the Google Meet, and I will see you later.